Ladakh, the land of high passes, lofty mountains and fascinating monasteries. It's a cold desert with almost no rainfall and very less amount of snow because of there is no moisture in air for precipitation. Low oxygen level and thin air pose challenge for anyone for first couple of days. All the passes and roads leading to Ladakh gets closed during winters, but a short flight from Indian capital Delhi takes you there to this dreamland in an hour's time. Crossing over snowy peaks of Pir Panjal and Janskar range is no less than a dream. Visiting Ladakh in winters is a pleasant surprise. You may see clear sunshine, which is ever ready to burn your skin but provides no comfort from freezing cold. Hotels in Leh are well equipped with central heating and hot water, and visitors don't get to experience the harsh face of the Ladakh winters until they venture out. The temperature in Ladakh drops to minus 10 to minus 45 on the higher reaches, even during sunshine. You may see snow on one side of the mountain, which are in the shade, but other side of the mountain are barren and dry because harsh sun melt the snow immediately. Reaching in far-flung areas, especially in the villages, is a Herculean task because snow on the road gets hard and makes it difficult to drive without snow chains. Life in the villages is very tough during the winters. Water freeze, pipelines turn into stone, supply of fuel to keep you warm becomes a challenge. There are no fresh food and vegetable supplies, and you have to survive for 4 months with what you have or what you have stored. To experience the real winters of Ladakh, which a tourist can bear, you have to go and stay in a village or in a remote area. We chose Likir village, which is around 80 kilometers from Leh, for this experience. Our host, Mrs. Tanzin, who was owner of the old Likir traditional farm stay, and their beautiful Ladakhi dog, Togo. They were ready to greet us. Togo was a playful dog and he prefers to stay out even in minus 20 to 30 degrees of temperature without any clothing. A day hike or trek was on agenda. It was sounding easy by looking at the terrain, but of course it was not so easy. Freezing cold does not allow you to take your hands out from your heavy jackets. Camera freezes quite often and you pant in the rare air after taking few steps in minus 20 degree of temperatures. The big rivers and the streams wading through the small villages gets frozen. Snow gets very hard and slippery on the river banks as well. These streams may look pretty from a distance, but it's a real challenge to cross over these or even to walk on the hard slippery ice where there is no bridges or the bridges are rare on these village streams. Well, you can never be sure about thickness of the ice in the river. If it's hard, you can cross over with snow boots, but if the crest is very thin, somewhere in between, frozen river bed with ice cold water is there to engulf you. After few initial lessons, you first try to be sure about strength of the ice layer. Sometimes by throwing boulders in it, sometimes by trying to break it by boots, or sometimes by tapping with sticks. This gives you a fair idea if you can cross a stream from a particular point or not. The most difficult parts of these small streams are the frozen slopey banks. These are so slippery that you cannot walk over these, even with the gum boots. There is no traction, nothing is there to hold on and to make yourself stable. You may slip and go into the river immediately or may break your bones by hitting the boulders during the free fall. Tiny streams look very pretty from a distance, They look tameable. They appear as if you can very easily go over these, but that's not the case. Normal tourists do not carry a proper mountaineering gear. Without mountaineering gear, it's very difficult to cross over these streams during the winters when these rivers gets frozen and gets slippery. The entire bank gets slippery. Although it's a good challenge and it's a good fun for your family and children if you are a bit careful and take care of small steps. At times, you need to slide over these streams. You need to take two stones in hand to give you some kind of traction and direction over snow so that you do not go with uncontrolled free flow and land into water areas. This is a bit risky because at times uncontrolled high speed sliding may hit your body against the huge boulders in the riverbed, but you have limited options to cross these frozen streams during winters. Several cattle die in Ladakh during winters by skidding over the slopes of frozen rivers. So let's be careful while performing this. Ladakh during winters is much more fascinating when you can witness their local face and culture without rubbing shoulders with crowd of tourists from all corners of the country in summers. With the proper winter gear and little bit of courage, we can experience real face of our own Shangri-La or what we call Ladakh during winters.